Welcome back to GP Fans. It's a Wednesday and we're talking all things the news in Formula 1 today. Before we go any further, a reminder to hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with everything that we produce here at the channel. But now let's get into the talking points as Sebastian Vettel talks power units in 2025. The F1 2022 calendar was provisionally announced this week and Danny Ricciardo gets defending his former teammate. First in the news today, former teammate of Max Verstappen, Danny Ricciardo, believes the Dutchman wouldn't have walked away from his collision with Lewis Hamilton at Monza if he was aware his rival had been injured. Many have criticised Max for the way he turned his back on the collision at lap 26 of the Italian Grand Prix and just walked away from the incident after his Red Bull was flung into the air, landing on top of his rival's Mercedes, with the right rear wheel of the Red Bull connecting with Hamilton's helmet and halo. Some have compared Max's actions after the incident in Monza to the celebrations by Hamilton at Silverstone after the pairs coming together that sent Verstappen flying into the tyre wall at 51 Gs, calling the Red Bull driver a hypocrite for the way he walked away from the incident in Italy, despite criticising Hamilton for the way the 7-time world champion revelled in victory at the British Grand Prix while Max was sent to hospital to be checked over. Ricciardo was quick to defend his former teammate for his actions at Monza after the crash, but did believe there may be a little resentment left over after the tangle between the World Championship fighters at Silverstone. "I know Max," said Ricciardo, speaking on the Pardon My Take video podcast. "I was teammates with him for a few years, and that's him. He's a competitor. He'll leave it on the track, and that's it. I guess he probably still carried a little bit of frustration or anger or emotion from Silverstone, so maybe that was the reason why he was kind of like, stuff this, I'm just going to walk away. There were things like Lewis trying to reverse and get out. I've already probably got too involved. Maybe Max saw that and he's like, okay, Lewis is fine." This is going to be diplomatic. I would say all of us drivers, for sure, we've got rivalries. And for sure, we don't all get on the best. But if we had a crash and we knew that guy was injured, 100% hand on heart, I believe all of us would go and try and help. If we knew it was something serious, we wouldn't just turn our backs. Ricciardo was asked if he thought there were some drivers in F1 who would push their car to the limit and crash rather than finish with a result they're not happy with. "There are definitely a few drivers like that," said the Australian. "I think that's a good mentality to have in terms of leaving it all on the table. But obviously, Max and Lewis are now fighting for the championship. So I think if that's your one and only mentality, then it's probably going to bite you more times than not. It's just trying to pick your moments. I don't want to say cut your losses when you can. I'm saying that I don't think the incident was stupid or anything that Max did." Elsewhere in F1, a resident eco-warrior, and that's not a criticism at all, Sebastian Vettel has called F1 to make their next power unit in the sport more road relevant. The 4-time world champion has just been confirmed to be part of Aston Martin's driver lineup for the 2022 season and the shake-up of the new regulations in Formula 1. But the German is focused on the 2025 season and the new power units that are set to be introduced into the sport that year. Engine manufacturers are currently in talks with F1 about the next steps to take when it comes to the regulations around these power units, but Vettel believes there is now an ideal opportunity for the sport to take the lead in this area in a far more pertinent way. "There is obviously potential to be more relevant," said Vettel. "At the moment, we have some fascinating technology in the cars, but it is very complex and probably irrelevant for the road. That is obviously not right, so I think whatever the next engine formula is, it needs to be more relevant and helping everybody in the whole world to make a shift when we talk about mobility. F1 should really carry on along its footsteps of the past to be a leader of technology which is relevant for the future." Vettel has become more and more environmentally conscious over the last few years, seen picking up litter from the stands at Silverstone this year and even making a trip to a recycling plant in the UK to understand the process a little bit more, and he feels that F1 can provide a bigger platform where it can teach and lead the way. I obviously witnessed how much litter was left behind at Silverstone, and it has to find its way. But the first goal should not be that the litter finds its way to the bin, but that it doesn't get produced in the first place. There are a lot of great ideas, inventions, concepts that can apply to our Grand Prix, to concerts or whatever. The likes of these sorts of events that attract people. Those are just some examples. So what do you make of Sebastian Vettel fighting on the ecological front and his thoughts on the power units for 2025? All seems like a good idea in our opinion here at GPFans. And Danny Ricciardo, quick to cover for his former teammate. Do you agree with the Australian that Max shouldn't be criticised too much for what happened after that incident at Monza and the way he just walked away? And of course, we had the news this week that the F1 schedule for 2022, albeit the provisional one, was announced. 23 races in 36 weeks, a jam-packed calendar next year, and 3 triple headers, something that the teams really aren't going to be too happy about. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below, and of course hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything we do as we prepare for the Russian Grand Prix this weekend here at GPFans.